So the main reason why most people today fail miserably in taking any action to change their lives in any meaningful way, to actually, embark on the journey of cultivating a greater sense of inner peace and get better fulfillment outcomes, is primarily due to the fact that people lack the needed conscious awareness to actually take a step back and to introspect, to reflect, to evaluate from a bird's eye perspective the relationship between the inputs of their lives, that being the environment, what they're putting in their body, the beliefs they hold to be true, and their outcomes in terms of health, happiness, and fulfillment. There is absolutely a disconnect. A big reason for this disconnect is due to a lack of information, or due to, a high degree of indoctrination in our modern age. So, when you're put into the school system, then you're put into the workforce, you are taught basically, obviously it's not overtly taught, but you are taught essentially that the pain and dissatisfaction you feel in your life will and can only be alleviated in the pursuit of superficial things. So, more money, more fame, more power, a nicer car, a bigger house. And that's what keeps people stuck and people trapped. So they lack the conscious awareness to evaluate, what I'm doing isn't working. Like, I've had 10 promotions, I still feel the same. I'm still a fucking loser and feel like shit. But because of the brainwashing, they thinking, okay, well, it's just one more promotion away. It's just, when I get this card, then I'll finally love myself. Like shit like that. Obviously like a symptom of a dysfunctional society, a society that, needs worker slaves, needs 9-to-5 workers, whatever. And then there's like the sort of next level. It's people who like actually understand this. In my own personal experience, I'll use the example of like my diet and lifestyle. My family and friends, a lot of them for the most part, are on the same page, and believe me in that when you eat and live a certain way, you're going to be healthier, and in turn, you're going to be happier, because, obviously mental health is a function of the brain and is a part of the body. So a healthier body is a healthier mind, is a happier life. My friends, family, a lot of them like fully believe with me. They don't really disagree. They're not super skeptical of, the raw chicken, the rotten meat, whatever, but they're just like, not for me. Not for me. But, I guarantee you that if they actually began to live the way I live my life and like do the things I do, they would feel better, just as I did. I wasn't like, super depressed or like super sick when I started living this way, but I absolutely feel better now than I did. And it's like completely eye-opening when you realize that how you feel comes from within. It comes from the beliefs, the subjective beliefs that are going to, shape your reactions to life. But then it also comes from within in terms of your health. Like obviously if you're sick, you're in pain, your life's going to be a lot more difficult to find the joy and find like the peace in. So why, my family and friends aren't actually, willing to take the next step, although some of them are. So there's that. I think it's always best to lead by example. But the reason why like a lot of people are like sort of skeptical or standoffish, and it like takes a bit of convincing, is due to the fact that like their own position in life isn't so painful and so dysfunctional that they are absolutely looking to change it radically. Like they're, looking for answers. Most people, as is sort of the norm, are like, life's hard, but that's just how it is for everyone. The grass isn't always greener. That's just how life goes. You hear all these sayings, ups and lows, ups and downs, highs and lows, all these things. And like that is the belief that is instilled in people, in the sort of indoctrination that I'm talking about from a very young age. And this could not be further from the truth. They're stuck on the hedonistic treadmill, and you are just, watering your nice green garden, maybe lying down, having a nap in the sun, all that good stuff. So yeah, my family and friends, a lot of them don't have that same pain, because, pain, I've said in previous videos, pain is a teacher, pain is a wake-up call that what you're doing isn't working. And, I've been fortunate to have that wake-up call. I've been fortunate to have those difficult moments that have caused me to like reflect on what I'm doing and go like, what the fuck am I, doing all this, pointless work for, all these different things that I've tried, if it's still bringing me to this place, if I'm, feeling this way. And, that comes from the understanding that, inputs result in outputs. Environment, diet, belief system results in subjective experience and the quality of your subjective experience. So yeah, and on top of that, like a lot of the people who, they believe that they, and like another reason on top of that, a lot of the people who, maybe agree that like this is a healthier way to live, this is a more fulfilling way to live, but, just not for me, is due to like limiting and restricting beliefs that are self-limiting. So, you know, they think because of like how they've been raised, whatever the traumas they've had, that a life like that isn't possible for them. And, you know, they create whatever reasoning and whatever like internal dialogue to make up any excuse of like why they couldn't start this, why they couldn't start that, whatever. And, you know, that is like a defense mechanism. Their body has essentially found comfort in living in a dysfunctional way. You know, that's what it's used to. It fears that, you know, changing anything up will, you know, open up any wounds they have, so to speak, and, you know, make them vulnerable and at risk to, you know, whatever insecurities, whatever lack of self-esteem they might have internally. So my advice to, you know, anyone, maybe like you're sort of listening to this and thinking, oh, I sort of sound like Mason's family and friends. Like, I know there is better ways to live my life, but I'm just sort of putting it off. I'm just sort of procrastinating. My advice to you would be find your why. You know, your why can be in pain or in pleasure. So like humans, the only reason any animal does something is either in the pursuit of pleasure or in the avoidance of pain. So for me, you know, what motivates me to like have this YouTube channel and to live and develop my life in the way I am is because I have like a vision for the future. You know, I see the farm I'm living on, like my wife, kids, whatever, like I know how I want to live my life. And, you know, I'm getting tastes of that and like how I'm living day to day, spending my days outside, drinking raw milk, whatever, eating all this good food. But my dream life is just 100% that, on a farm, by the beach, in the sun all day, playing, having fun, carefree. And like, yeah, as I said, these are things that I'm getting glimpses of and that, you know, for the most part I'm experiencing. I live a pretty good life, but my vision, this ideal, is what motivates me to like start up this channel, do the little bit of hard work. And, you know, now that I'm like so set on this ideal life, so I'm already got so much momentum, there's like no way I'm going to be stopping and slowing down anytime soon or like settling for less. So yeah, and then also like there's the motivating factor of avoidance of pain. I have had a far lesser quality of life than I do now. Like obviously I grew up eating a pretty shitty conventional diet. I had like, you know, a lot of insecurities. Like I was very attached to like these materialistic, superficial pursuits, thinking if I attain this level of status or like get this pair of shoes, whatever, then I'd be somehow cooler. Like I was trying constantly to validate my low self-esteem. No, trying to relieve my low self-esteem. So yeah, it's just like, obviously I can't go back to that. And I see that like what sort of triggers like that sort of state of being is like the complete antithesis of farm living, being at peace with nature, being self-sufficient, not having any sort of man-made care in the world. So it's like when you're working an actual job, when you're, you know, involved in like all these societal constructs, that is when your self-worth is being attached to a superficial ideal, to something that's not real, to something that, you know, people have just thought up and then agreed upon that they attribute some value to. And yeah, so when you're involved in those things, that is when you'll put yourself at risk to, you know, damaging your fulfillment and mental health and quality of life because of some unattainable ideal. So yeah, find your why in that, what you want to get out of. Obviously it could be like a difficult situation, a shit living conditions, poor country, could be like growing up in the slums, whatever. You know, that's more than enough reason. Obviously you're experiencing pain day to day. But yeah, like really have that vision of the future, have like the belief that you can get there. Who are people you can look up to, like who are doing the same thing, have gotten out of a similar position. I hope like a lot of you guys can watch my stuff and like think, oh wow, like Mason's living the life that I want to live. He's, you know, or at least he's like working towards it. And, you know, take inspiration from that. You absolutely can do that because, you know, obviously you need to have like some idea of where you could go and what is possible. Otherwise you wouldn't take the first steps to begin with at all. So yeah, that's the video. Become more consciously aware, evaluate your life, find your why, and yeah, comment below if you got any thoughts, any questions.